this episode we're driving more heavily overgrown inland tracks. We visit the amazing Moon Point and Sandy Creek. We have a look at a fig tree where you can climb inside into the crown. We explore Wanggoolba Creek and Central Station. And have a competition who can kill the most horseflies. And I have to deter Dingo, which comes far too close for comfort. We're on the tracks again, and after the walk up to Postens, I was keen for a swim. Fortunately, there's no shortage of crystal clear creeks on Fraser, and this one looked very inviting. One of our maps showed a loop track here at Wanggoolba Creek. However, that loop didn't really exist anymore and we had to turn around. But we came across another shipwreck and collected hundreds of spiders on our vehicle, which I unfortunately didn't film. We finally managed to get access to Wanggoolba Creek without any mangroves, and we found more old logging relics. Oh, it's old logging, I guess. Got ourselves into a bit of an interesting spot here. It's super soft. Used to be a track here, but it's gone now.
Yeah, pretty soft. It's washed off the island over there.
Ah, Duck Island. These are the remnants of old Bellot's hut, but not much left there really to view it. Pretty busy, yeah? We're driving towards Moon Point here, and that's an 8-kilometer track which is narrow as. You would not want to have any oncoming traffic on that track, as there's hardly any room to pull aside and let someone pass. I certainly added to my pinstriping collection today because, yeah, very narrow, very narrow. That's how it looks here. That's actually the wide part. At stages, that stuff is higher than your car and so close in. Yeah, my mirror and so on, it's already folded in. Surprisingly, at Sandy Point, surprisingly, we're not the only one.
You got like watery, you really need that.
The other cars really we've seen so far. What's on the menu, mate?
Beef, bacon and egg burger.
What Ellen found. Queensland Rocks, Facebook, 44SS, hide me. We will hide you again. So if you're on Fraser, this rock is hidden somewhere on Fraser. Yeah guys, I'm here at Sandy Point, that's Moon Creek, Fraser Island. It's pretty nice, and I thought I share with you my first impressions of the BFG KM3, the new BFG mud-terrain tire. I used to run KM2s for 5 years, never had an issue with it, still regarded as the best all-round tire. However, I switched to a Nitto Trail Grappler probably a year ago because the KM3s weren't out and I want to try something else. However, BFG now has given me a set of KM3 to test and I'm very grateful for that. So, how are they? I have to say, pretty much how I expected. Pretty damn good so far. Obviously I only tested them on sand, but on Fraser I run the KM3s on 17 psi, which was expected. The KM2 had a weaker sidewall than the KM3, and the Nitto, yeah, is a super heavy tire, is 4 kilograms heavier than the KM3. So you would expect that obviously you need to air down. In sand, I have to say the KM3 does perform better than the Nitto so far. Yeah, with the Nitto it always felt like that it dug in a little bit. I mean, it never gave me enough issue to got me stuck really, but March flies are around here, sorry. So it never really got me stuck, but I had to go, yeah, fairly low pressures to make them work. The KM3 now, yeah, super good. Didn't struggle anywhere, so very happy so far, but that is very early days. First trip out, the real test will come on the Canning. This is a beach around Moon Point, just before Wanggoolba Point. It is very hot there, supposedly camping, but it didn't really look too inviting. And I think the high tide there would be very close up on the grass. There are a lot of swamps in the hinterland, but there is no creek outlet, so you also don't have any fresh water. So while the beach is stunningly beautiful, it's not really that inviting for camping. Given that the camping wasn't that inviting and we were to leave tomorrow, we decided to make our way back towards the east coast. We went back via the Yidney scrub and came across the small-leaved fig tree, which is absolutely amazing. It is a strangling fig tree which over the years kills the tree inside, and when that rots away it leaves a huge hollow. Good that my kids weren't with me, because I would have had to drag them down from the crown of the tree. You could climb that all the way up into the crown. Amazing. Yeah, one thing certainly going on here is March flies. They are big, they are hungry, and they are plentiful. It's our pastime, March fly killing. Oh, it's still moving there, it's recovering. Under your leg. Yeah. What do you reckon? It's a tally, 50 or so?
Easy, I think.
Easy, yeah? I went up early in the morning to film the sunrise and also to hopefully catch a glimpse of some dingoes. As usually early in the morning on the beach you see them scavenging around. This one here would come super close, and I actually had to give him a poke with my tripod. So to be dingo safe is quite important, especially if you have kids there. I think for someone smaller he definitely would have had a go at. On my previous trips you always had a good strip of drivable sand even at high tide, but that has completely vanished. We're heading to Lake McKenzie for a little swim. It's high tide, so can't drive back yet. However, that trek down to Lake McKenzie is the worst trek. I don't know where all these wombat holes are from, because I don't understand how people can really spin tires here. Sorry, the water blocked the audio from the microphone. What I'm saying here is that the sand is pure silica. It has a very interesting consistency when it's wet. Lake McKenzie has an average depth of 6.5 meters, but at its deepest point is 8.5 meters. It has some of the world's cleanest water occurring in a natural environment. Hey guys, we're here at Central Station and let me show you a bit around. It is quite amazing that an island built of sand has such an extensive rainforest of big and old trees. The historic heart of Fraser Island is Central Station, or Wanggoolba Creek. That is the creek which we saw before coming into the ocean. Wanggoolba Creek was a Butchola woman area and birthing place where men were not allowed. This large clearing was later the headquarters of Fraser Island's Forestry Corporation from 1920 until the late 1950s. An old logging village was also located here from days when tree felling was still permitted on Fraser. The rare king fern, Angiopteris evecta, grows only on this creek and nowhere else on the island. The crystal clear and silent creek is home to a number of species of fish, turtles and eels. Today the picnic area reflects the island's forestry past. The mature kauri pines, bunya pines and flooded gums were planted 95 years ago to create a display botanical garden. You're wrong. It's the end of it, huh? Nearly.
Yeah. For airing up, I definitely love my Jamek pen because it is so damn quick. So switch it on. That's pretty much it. The rest now all goes automatically. Once it reaches 40 psi, it will beep. After airing up, my first stop is the Rainbow Beach car wash to give the car an underbody wash and a thorough high pressure clean to get rid of all the sand and salt. Hey guys, I'm still in Brisbane here. I'm heading home tonight, but now I'm gonna see Tom from Rust Tree and get underbody rust protection for the cruiser. I know some of you would say, yeah, maybe you should have done that before, Fraser. That's correct. However, that rust protection, what I gonna get, and Tom will explain a bit later, needs 10 days to cure. So you can drive it on the highway and so on, but you can't drive it through sand. So I'm really looking forward to that. Not just for my sand and beach driving, even though I always try to avoid the salt water. Still, you have sand flicking up, but also because of the many salt lakes we cross in the desert. So I thought some underbody protection should be quite helpful there. There he is, Tom. Hey Stefan, how are you?
How are you, mate?
Yeah, good.
Good to meet you, mate.
You going alright?
Yes, going all right, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, good. How's Fraser?
Beautiful, too short as always.
First we'll go through with high pressure air, try and blow out the last of the sand grains that you've collected on your journey.
Yep.
Then high pressure clean,
Yep.
then we inspect. And based on visually what we see, where there's any touch-up spots that we actually have to manually bath, to get get the key. The key is, it's a paint, right? So it has to have a keying surface. So the material base has to be good enough to hold the rust proofing. If we do, we're going to go through a bit of etch primer and touch that up. Then we can go through, mask it up, apply some stone guard. So your leading edges on your bash plate, the bottom of your diff housings, I'll put a rubberised stone guard first. And then once that's cured, we'll underbody over the top. And all your internal chassis rails and the body stiffeners that go through will get wax inside all of those cavities. So basically I paint all of the underbody to the firewall, all of your chassis rail and cross members, suspension and so forth right to the brake backing plate. And we've had pretty good success, so people like Queensland Police up on Fraser Island have doubled the lifespan of their vehicles. Parks and Wildlife have got some early success with some vehicles that we've just trialled last year for both Fraser and Moreton.